We welcome UNCG student athletes and Coach Miller to the dais. We'll remind you to please raise your hand when you have a question, and we'll get a microphone to you. If you could direct during the student athlete portion, which will come after Coach Miller's statement, if you could direct a question to a specific student athlete, that's helpful. And we'll go ahead and begin with a statement from Coach Miller.
Well, I don't think I could be prouder of my group. We're, I think, 0 for 13 in the first half from 3 for 8 from the free throw line, and we're in a 3-possession game at halftime, and I think that says a lot about kind of the toughness that we've had all year, the grit that we've had all year. So I felt really fortunate because I thought we got pretty good looks in the first half, that we had to kick some jitters off. And then in the second half, I thought things really opened up for us offensively. The ball started going through the basket. Certainly in the first half, James Dickey kind of kept us in it. Thought he was in a really good rhythm offensively. We probably could have done a better job getting him the ball in the second half, but in the second half, Demetrius and Francis beside me here really got us going with their plays, not just for themselves, but for other guys. And then our defense wasn't what I wanted it to be every time, especially to start the second half, but I thought we had some really tough possessions just to go get 50-50 balls. It's going to be interesting to go back and watch the tape because there was a couple scrums around the basket, and you're going to always kick yourself and go, what if type of thing, what if we'd have come up with that one or this one? But I thought our fight to the ball was pretty good. I think we'll always think about that last minute or so and think kind of what if. I could have made some better play calls. I changed the play call coming out of the timeout, and I think the one that I changed it to, they had it scouted, and I put Francis in a really tough position. I think if I'd have kept the first one, it wouldn't have been scouted, and we might have got a better look or not turned it over. And then I think for these young guys or the guys that will be returning, we can build on the fact that we had, all off season we've been a good defensive team, but we can get better because, we had a lead and we had 2 possessions to try to get stops to win a game, and we gave up 5 points in those 2 possessions. So there are some things that we can build on and learn from, but I couldn't be prouder of my group.
Let's take questions for UNCG student athletes, and when those are exhausted, we'll dismiss them from the dais and go back to questions for Coach.
For Francis, there seemed to be a play late in the second half where the ball skimmed off the rim and they did not reset the shot clock. I think the ball ended up in your hands. Do you remember that? And what happened, and how did that affect that sequence?
Well, to be honest, I didn't even notice it. All I hear was guys from the benches yelling at me like, "You gotta shoot the ball." So we kept playing, and I think that play didn't really affect us as a team in the last stretch of the game. Probably really frustrated because me personally, I could have guarded the ball better in the last 2 possessions, and we could have had a better chance to win the game. But absolutely, that play didn't affect us for the rest of the game.
Demetrius, Mark Few from Gonzaga said that he was surprised by how well you guys were able to penetrate and score as the guards. Just kind of your thoughts on why that was working so well, and how much of a difference that made today.
Well, I think it worked really well. Coach Miller he gives us a lot of freedom to just play very freely and open and confidently. And Coach was just giving us a lot of great play calls for us to be able to get into the lane, and we were able to continuously get down there and make things happen. So we just kept going with what was working.
Francis, the play with 20 seconds left where they called the foul on you, what was that play supposed to be? And take me through that sequence. What happened there?
You're talking about the one I was coming off the screens and they called offensive foul? Yeah, well, I was hearing from the Gonzaga bench that they knew the play. So I was trying to, set a ball screen for Meat. The guy stepped on my feet. I kind of was leaning into him. The ref called the charge, but some situations didn't happen during the game, and you can control that. And I'm still, frustrated about the defensive stops that I didn't get guarding the ball in the last position. In those situations, there are things that I can control as a player. But absolutely that call, that was a ref's decision, so I can't blame them.
All right, one more for student athletes.
Francis, Wes kind of mentioned a little bit, not making a three-pointer in the first half. He said you had some open looks. Looks like maybe you did. How would you kind of assess, what wasn't working and being to get those shots falling in the first half?
Well, of course, playing against a great team as Gonzaga and not making wide open threes or good looks is gonna hurt you by the end of the game. Some threes they went in and out, but it happens. We stayed true to our values on the defensive aspect as a team. We knew that some shots are not gonna go in, and it happened today, unfortunately. But we fought, as Coach said, in the defensive aspect and the other side of the court. And we kept competing. We kept competing as a team, and we didn't give up. So we gotta be proud of that. But of course, really sad because we didn't have our day offensively.
All right, we'll thank these two student athletes and dismiss them from the dais. Thank you, guys. And once they've left, we'll turn questions over to Coach Miller. Thank you, guys. You're good. We remind you that the UNCG locker room is open. Matt McAllister will help you and the UNCG Athletic Media Relations staff. Questions for Coach Miller?
You have only one senior in your starting lineup. What else? Two. My bad. Two seniors in your starting lineup. What can this team do to build for next season, and how encouraging is it to know that you'll have players coming back?
Yeah, we hit on that in the locker room. We've really worked hard to try to build culture on a day-to-day basis in our program. And I told our guys in the locker room that our seniors from last year, Deontay Baldwin and R.J. White, were probably really proud today watching us play in the NCAA tournament, and that for the returning guys, Jordy Kuiper and Marvin Smith and Garrett Collins and Justin Jordan, our seniors this year, will be really proud if we can take a step forward and keep growing our program. So we do have the opportunity to keep growing and moving forward. And, I am excited about the young guys in our program and the returning guys. These two guards sitting up here today that are pretty darn good players will be seniors next year. So hopefully we can continue to try to grow one at a time.
Coach, you said you put Francis in a tough position. I know there were two possessions, the offensive foul, and there was one where he was really behind the 8 ball trying to get a shot off. But I just wanted to get your breakdown of what happened on those.
Yeah, we had the ball there, and I looked up, and there's 50 seconds or so on the clock. And, we were struggling to guard him in the second half. I felt like we were searching at times, and I felt like, we tried the zone a little bit. We were trying to mix up how we were playing the post, but I felt like sometimes we were lucky. They missed some quality threes. I mean, I thought we really guarded in the first half. I didn't think we were as good defensively, so I looked up and, it's kind of a feel thing. Sometimes I've gone 2 for 1 with this team. Sometimes I haven't. But I looked up and I said, man, we can go 2 for 1. So I wanted the ball in Francis's hands. We've done that a lot this year, and we really needed a basket. We just kind of give him the ball and give him space. So we set a high ball screen, and I was trying to get us to go faster because I wanted to get the 2 for 1 opportunity, which we did. But I don't think he got a great look, and I probably sped him up a little bit. And then, coming out of the timeout there, after Norvell hit the big 3, again, I had a call out of the same set, and I kind of changed it to another call in that set. And the one that I changed it to, they had scouted, and I put him in a tough position. I didn't think any of our calls were bad calls, but I think you always kind of go, what if type of thing. What if you'd have done this better? I think that's what you do in this situation as a player and a coach. I think people always say, man, you were pretty gutsy to throw that lob there. When you were up, I don't know if it was tied or we were up 2, but they were starting to really extend on pin downs. I love Demetrius and James. They've connected on a lot of lobs this year, and we weren't going to be afraid tonight. We were going to come out swinging. So people might think that's a gutsy call, but I thought James could have caught it and come down with it, and there might have been a little contact there. We'll have to look at the film, but we didn't execute as well as we wanted in the last minute and a half. That's for sure, and we'll have to go back to the film and learn from that.
3 more questions. Start right back here.
Coach, 2 things about James. You pulled him out about 90 seconds into the game. What did you talk about there? And 2, were you surprised how well he got off the block offensively against a team that's very tall and very long on the inside like he is.
You mean 90 seconds in the first half?
Yeah, like right. Yeah,
He gave a tired signal, which is why he came out there early. I thought he was in a great rhythm offensively. Our team was in a really good rhythm offensively. We just couldn't seem to, make the quality shot. We got quality shots. We just couldn't seem to make them. But he was the one guy that had it going a little bit. And, the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been sped up a little bit on offense. He's so excited. He plays with such good energy. I thought he really had slowed down around the basket tonight, and that's kind of who he's been most of the year. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's had a couple plays where you thought he should finish, and maybe he was just a little too excited. Tonight, he was really under control with the ball there, and we're not even in the game in the first half offensively if it's not for him. He was tremendous tonight, and he was the defensive player of the year in the Southern Conference, and you look down, and he's got 11 rebounds again tonight, and I thought he was a factor defensively. So he's a tremendous young player, and we feel fortunate he'll be back for the next 2 years.
Wes, you talked yesterday about the problems that they present for you in the post. You out-rebounded this team tonight. How pleased were you with that effort, and particularly the effort inside by your guys?
Well, I thought we had to do that to give ourselves a chance. I thought we made a great effort to go get the ball in the second half. Like I mentioned, I didn't think we guarded as well. I don't think it was for lack of effort. I mean, they're just a really good team, and give them credit. I mean, they can really execute offense. All 5 guys are skilled and can make plays. So we were struggling. But the one thing I did think we did well, Jeff, was we pursued the ball well. I mean, my favorite play of the night, and Marvin going for a loose ball, gets knocked to the ground. And instead of, sometimes that's frustrating. You thought you had it, you get knocked off your position. He just sprints up and goes and gets a big-time rebound in traffic. So I thought we had an edge in the second half to go get the ball, even though I did think they were in a pretty good rhythm offensively.
Last question.
Wes, Mark talked about how essential he thought it was that they guarded the 3 really effectively against y'all. He also said that he thought you guys were exceptionally efficient at, driving for 2s in the second half. Did you emphasize in any particular way dribble penetration as a reaction to what they were trying to do to you?
We're a spread team. We try to open the floor up and let guys go. We do like to shoot the 3. I mean, we got 22 looks, and I'll venture to guess that 18 of them were pretty good looks for us. But I do think they were really extending on us, and it allowed guys to get downhill. The one thing we did really emphasize was being strong with the ball when we did drive. We thought we could drive it, but they're really good at coming in there and getting deflections and hands on it. We've seen that on tape. We drilled that this week, and we talked about it a lot and showed film of it.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.